Whoa.
Okay, for today, for youth group, our first online youth group, we're going to have a teaching about anxiety and how to deal with it. Anxiety is an issue a lot of people deal with, right? There's a lot of mental illness out there. There's a lot of stress out there. And to be honest, it's not one that I've had to deal with very much. I'm a pretty laid back guy, pretty calm, but lately with coronavirus, I've been getting really stressed. Like I'm feeling it often in my chest. I remember for me, I was at first just watching the headlines, right? And I was watching this, oh man, here's what's happening in China. Oh, here's what's happening here. But then things started really going down. They started kind of shutting down, like Italy was shut down. And I thought, man, they shut down Italy. Easter's coming, like it's tourist season, and they just shut everything down. And it was coming, and it was exciting to me. There's a part of me that actually wants exciting things to happen in the news, right? So I'm watching the news, and oh, it's getting cooler, right? But then what happened was when it really hit Canada, when it really hit me, I should say, that's when all of a sudden it shifted. I didn't want it to get more exciting anymore. I didn't have this kind of perverse incentive. Now I was like, I was stressed. The day it happened for me, it was a Sunday, and I had actually just gone for a big walk with Mr. Locke and another friend of mine. We'd gone for a big hike in the snow and stuff. We get back, and all of a sudden the news breaks. Schools in Alberta are closed. And it stressed me. I thought I'd be excited. I thought I'd be like, woohoo, we get 4 months of forced vacation. Who knew that we'd figure out how to do school online and all that stuff. I remember that night. It was Sunday night, but I'd given up alcohol for Lent. And I remember thinking, I can't give up alcohol anymore, right? Like, you know how alcohol kind of calms your nerves a little bit. I'm not exactly an alcoholic. I never get drunk. Drunkenness is considered a sin, and don't use alcohol as medication. But there was a part of me that's like, man, I don't want to be taking on anything else. So I went out and bought a big bottle of rum, and I thought, yeah, now I can have a rum and Coke every evening if I want to. Things like that. I just kind of thought, no, for me, this is now too stressful. I've calmed down a little bit. I'm actually kind of enjoying my isolation and working from home. But a lot of people are dealing with stress. A lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of people are worried about their health. A lot of people aren't doing very well in isolation. A lot of families aren't doing very well in isolation, right? The whole family being in the same house all day long. And so I was thinking, we need to address this. How do we deal with stress? And so I went and asked my wife about it.
Hi, I'm Peter's wife, Catherine.
She's pretty wise. What would you say? And she says, well, I've got a lot of experience about this because I was actually on anti-anxiety medication for a while. Remember, I was having those panic attacks, and I was like, wait, what?
And he said, what? Like within our marriage?
I didn't remember.
About 7.5, maybe 8 years ago, I was pregnant with our third child. And I also have a disease called Crohn's disease. In my case, it kind of got really bad around this point. And it was so bad that I was in bed a lot. I even had my 2 older kids, after Maggie was born, they were getting taken care of in a day home because I was in bed so much.
Okay, see, now that I remember. Yeah, Catherine was really sick, right? She was in bed all day, every day. I had to start looking after the kids. At that point, I remember I was actually taking my baby, Maggie, with me to youth group in Sylvan Lake on Tuesday nights. I was doing a lot of that work, and she was so sick, her muscles atrophied. So even when she did want to get up and get outside and go for a walk, she couldn't. She was in a wheelchair for a while, and things were getting really scary.
Your mind starts suffering. And so I remember it was just after Christmas, and we had been trying all these different natural things. We had been trying just anything that wasn't really heavy-duty medication or surgery. Those things I wanted to avoid. So around New Year's Eve, we were about to go out to this fun party at Hovens Church, at the Evergreen Church, and I just started like bawling uncontrollably before we left, and I wasn't really sure why. I just felt like this tremendous tight bundle of anxiety, and all I could do was cry. And that was weird. I kind of got over it, and it was a fun night. And then it happened again, and it happened again. And I think about the third time, I just thought, okay, something's wrong with me. And I'm trying all these things. Oh, try to get a good sleep. Well, I'm trying, but I have a newborn and a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. It's not easy to get a good sleep. Try to eat healthy. Well, I've got massive problems in my digestive tract, and I am eating super duper healthy, and it's not working either. So I thought, medication. So I went to the doctor, bawling my face off. She says, maybe you need something really, really strong. And I said, no, that's okay. Let's just try this basic medication for now. And honestly, it took a couple of months for it to help. But there you go. That was me at the age of 34, living my whole life, feeling quite confident and quite trusting in God and thinking that things were going really well. And that point in my life was a really low point. And I do thank God that there is such thing as medication, but the medication didn't save me. It just kind of helped. It's because sometimes anxiety is situational. You can get into a certain situation, a social setting, or a situation in life where all of a sudden you're a mom, you've never been a mom before, and you're actually freaked out about it. You lose your job, you've never lost your job before, this is freaky. And this kind of situation you're in brings on the anxiety. But I kind of knew before that situation kind of escalated to that breaking point, I already knew that it was as soon as I became a mom for the first time that I was dealing with a bit more anxiety than I ever had as a single person or just a newly married person. There's something about babies. They're just gorgeous and wonderful. But I realized that for me, it's the responsibility of having this totally dependent human being that I'm responsible. I have to help them. That freaked me out. And I didn't expect that it would. From the time I was about 30 was when I first became a mom. So about 30 years old onwards, I did start dealing with a bit more anxiety. Now, my mom is a psychologist, which is very handy dandy, and she's also a very good one. And so she's given me a lot of really good advice over the years. And her top advice is actually to go for a 30-minute walk every day. And it's like, oh, that's so boring. That is an amazing help for people with anxiety. And in fact, in a bunch of cases, it was better than any single medication. Amazing. So our bodies are made to be moving, that's for sure, right? Another thing that's really powerful is prayer. And I was talking to someone the other day and they said, oh, this coronavirus, I'm praying like never before. And that is a good thing. But sometimes our prayer could actually just be helping and contributing to our anxiety, because all we do is we just go over and over and over in our mind how all these things we're worried about, and we bring them to God. So this is the Divine Mercy image. And at the bottom it says, Jesus, I trust in you. I was showing it to one of my kids a few months ago, and she said, yeah, but Mom, that's not even true. I can't honestly say, Jesus, I trust in you, because I don't. I'm so worried about this thing, whatever it was. So if you can't honestly say, Jesus, I trust in you, then when we're looking at this image, I think we could say, Jesus, help me to trust in you. Or we could say, Jesus, I want to trust in you. And what I like to do, totally practical, totally real. Right now, you can do this with me, okay? Have you ever tried breathing? It's nice, hey? I like it. So while we're breathing, you can breathe in. And when I breathe in, I say, Jesus, I trust in you. And as I breathe out, I say, I let go of my worries. It's very simple, and you don't have to remember a formula. So here we go. It's a bit of funky breeze happening here. But anyway, breathing in my nose. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I let go of my worries. In your nose again. Jesus, I trust in you. Breathe out. I let go of my worries. And when I say I let go of my worries, I'm actually picturing, it's like a black suitcase, and the handle's really worn. It's kind of all beat up. And my hand is clutching onto the suitcase, but then I let go. So your hand is clutched, and then you're letting go. And having a picture in your mind as you pray and as you say these words is even more powerful. And actually ask Jesus, say, what do I need to let go of? Ask him and expect him to tell you, because he does want to. For me, I have been able to receive prayer counseling or inner healing prayer. And when you receive this kind of prayer, it's assuming that every single one of us is a little bit broken somewhere inside. And if you don't think you are, it doesn't mean you're not. It just means you're not aware. So we all have some brokenness inside, and that can really contribute to our anxieties. And so asking Jesus, what do I need to let go of? is really powerful. And he might show a picture to you. He might bring up a memory from your past. And then when you have that memory in your mind, you just, again, take the image from me. It's the hand clutching the suitcase and letting go. And for you, whatever letting go is, it could be a little sailboat that's just getting pushed off to sea, letting go. There's so many scripture verses that can help with anxiety. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. I love the one that says, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. But we're in a really challenging time in history. And for us to be tightly pent up bundles of anxiety, it's not good for us and it's not good for others. As Christians, when we're in these kind of challenging times, we want to be able to be kind and be loving and reach out to people. And it's really hard to reach out when we're feeling these feelings so intensely and when we're tightly wound. So we need to be able to let go of the things that are making us anxious. Ask Jesus for the grace to let go. There's so much good in us just saying, Jesus, I give my heart to you. Show me what I need to let go of. Help me to let go and help me to trust in you, Jesus. And then we'll be able to share his love more deeply with the people around us. And he will be able to transform our hearts. And being transformed from the inside out is a huge part of what being a Christian is.
Okay, so I hope that this stuff has been helpful for you. I hope that if you're dealing with anxiety, you too will take it to prayer, take it to Christ. Know that God is in control, and we just need to learn how to trust him through these hard times.